Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another action figure review. Today I'll be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series 86 Junkion Scrapheap. This of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Hasbro, as well as my lovely Aunt Kelly from good old Florida. Got me this for my birthday this past year, the calendar year 2026. For those of you watching this in the future, this guy is a Voyager class, and even for a Voyager class, I gotta say, he's pretty tall. We'll see that more when we bring out our two regulars for comparisons, but I had a hard time fitting this guy on screen. Then again, I have a hard time fitting everything on screen because I'm legally blind. So, with that being said, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Scrapheap has to offer in terms of accessories, starting off with the wheel shields. Because of course he does turn into a motorcycle, as a Junkion often should, at least one from the G1 series. There are those other ones that can pop apart, and we will be talking about those, but not today. That said, we also have his blaster, which I guess is more of a concept art thing than a legit thing. So, you know, take that for what you will, but it is accurate to that concept art, and he can, of course, hold it in either hand or store it on his legs. Other than that, that's all you get, other than the figure in question. Now, I will say, these buggers here, these big, long, like almost inch-long spikes, these are pretty rigid. Be careful on those. You don't want to poke your eye out or break them off. Hashtag don't break your toys. But other than that, he feels pretty solid. And not for nothing, if you want to make these a little shorter, just pop that on and pop this on, and you're good to go. Whoop. Yeah, flip it around. There we go. They pop on a certain way, but now they're not as long. I'm going to worry about them as much, but personally, I like to put the wheels on the knees. But I am unopposed to having one on the arm and one on the leg to kind of homage the Generations Reveal the Shield Junkions. Anyone remember those? They had the little pinwheel weapon. But at any rate, Scrapheap has a couple of horn-like antennas sticking off his head. Fold them back. I prefer them that way, but that's mostly for transformation. He's got his goatee and everything going on, as a Junkion should. And is an extensive retool, to my understanding, of Wreck-Gar and I don't know if it's Junkyard or Junk Heat, but it's Junk something. And this guy is fairly different. Hopefully we keep getting Junkions on this mold with this kind of skeletal frame. And they keep looking as different as they do, because I like these guys. I think they're pretty cool. But as far as articulation goes, his head is on a ball joint. Can look around. Can look up really well. Like, holy crap. For a box head, he's got plenty of range. No real tilt, but swivel and up and down is no problem. Shoulders will pop up, back down, forward and back. If you dislodge the shoulder from the chest, you can get a bit of a butterfly out of it. A beautiful butterfly, as it were. He's got a swivel in the bicep. Single jointed elbow gets you about 90. Swivel in the wrist. This one's pretty tight on mine, the other one not so much. This one also a pain in the butt to get out of his forearm due to transformation. So keep that in mind. You might need to grab your Transformers Animated Universe Voyager class Optimus Prime's axe to try and get that out. At least that's what I use. He does have a waist twist. He also has a bit of an ab crunch. I can lean this far forward and then snap back into place. He can also bend back a little bit. So he's got like double torso joint there. So that's kind of cool. Popping his arms up. Move the saddlebags here. His hips will kick out. He's got nice, tight, clicky hips. That's cool. I dig that. And not for nothing, I didn't even have him fully straightened out. I had his legs popped out one notch, because it was a little bit more of a natural pose. I suppose them being all the way down like a nutcracker. But he can kick forward and back pretty much 90 degrees both ways. Thigh cut works fine. Single jointed knee, 90 degrees again. And the ankles can hinge back pretty far, forward a little bit, and then he does have a decent amount of ankle rocker. But it is hindered by the sides of the leg there, so keep that in mind when you're posing him up. But as far as how I like to display this guy, I will show you right now. I like to put one wheel down here. I like to make sure it's the tight side too. There we go. Actually, hold on. Oh, is it literally just sitting in there? There we go. That's the tighter side. So put that in there. And I'll pop this over here. Let's see. And it's about the same on either side. So he has one wheel shield and one wheel at the bottom, because not for nothing, in bike mode, one of the wheels is connected to the arms, one of them is connected to the leg. So I think he should have one on the arm and one on the leg. And then of course we have his blaster, which you can put in his right hand here. And now he is ready to dare to be stupid. I mean, just look at this guy. He is cool. I dig him a lot. Of course, you don't have to set him up like this, but I like the asymmetry when it comes to Junkions. I think it makes them look more like Junkions. Albeit the animated Wreck-Gar is probably my one omission from that rule, because he didn't look like that in the show. But I like this guy a lot. I think he's fun. I think for the price, you're getting a decent sized Voyager class. And he's pretty well articulated. Standing him up there. Bringing our two regulars. We got the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith right there. He's going to hit that spike. Kind of knew it. As well as the infamous 11 Spawn, who I'm very curious. Nope. Despite the fact that Scrapheap is a taller Voyager, to his credit, he is still no match for good old Al Simmons, who, as usual, towers over everyone. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and I gotta be honest, I am very happy with good old Scrapheap here, so much so that I am excited to check out both Wreck-Gar and Junkyard/Heap whenever that happens, because I gotta be honest, I think the Junkions are a little underrated. That's right, I said it. I like these guys. I like the fact that they are somewhat Mad Max inspired and have spikes and gnarly accoutrements in both robot and vehicle mode. And I think as a group, they are even better than they are individually, especially if we get into the armorizer, weaponizer, whateverizer ones that we will be taking a look at over the course of the next few days here. So, with that being said, before we wrap this sucker up, why don't we get good old Scrapheap transformed and take a closer look at his vehicle mode. And as promised, here we have good old Scrapheap in his motorcycle mode. Kind of looks like a dirt bike from Mad Max Road Warrior, but that's besides the point. There's a little blaster here, can store on the side if you want. Act as another exhaust pipe. He does have a kickstand, sort of. They're just the kneecaps fold up. Once you do that, you can roll him on the floor like so. Not so much a wee, but more like a... that was stupid. But folding the kickstand back up. This is as far as I go. I thought they might have went a little further, but it doesn't look like they can. Can they? Kind of feels like they can. But... oh, they can. They can. I'm just being a wuss. Alright, there you go. There you go. But the other way works too, if you're a wuss like me and didn't want to push it too far. That said, I will say, you can fit another Junkion on this guy's back. No homo. The handlebars are about, probably a little less than 3mm. And then I think there's a place for their feet to tab in, probably where I had that blaster. Right around here, wherever I had that. But I only have Scrapheap as the time I am recording this video. Whenever I get my hands on Wreck-Gar or... is it Junkion or Junkyard? There's a lot of scraps, there's a lot of junks, and there's a lot of heaps with these. I almost called them wreckers. Junkions. So, you know, bear with me if I get the names confused. But when I get another one of these Voyager class Studio Series Junkions, I will gladly show what it looks like when one is riding on the other. Again, no homo. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.